Hey, what's up guys? You're watching the Gamestork, and today we are going to be looking at something super cool. I'm going to tell you what I think the new Nintendo Switch Pro is based off of some things that have been patented throughout this entire time and other things. I can't wait to talk about it, but first let's get into a little housekeeping. Be sure to subscribe below for all things great here, all things gaming, Nintendo, Xbox, PS4, PS5, all that good stuff. Also join me at 8 p.m. each and every weekday for the live stream in the news, and also at 9 p.m. Right here on YouTube as we stream through the Skyward Sword. Almost said Breath of the Wild. It's just there. It's so great. But we're going to look at some stuff today as far as what is coming with the Nintendo Switch Pro or Nintendo Switch 2 or Super Switch or whatever it is. What could this be? What does it mean? Let's jump right in. So first things first, let's think back about the vision of the Wii U. The failed vision of the Wii U, first of all, it was a system that we thought deserved, and they thought deserved, more success because it brought about the idea of separating gaming from the television. It wanted you to be able to pick up a console game and hold it in front of you and play that game while someone else was doing something on the television. Remember the commercial where they were watching sports and they picked the game up and they were like, I'm playing a console game on the go, right? It wasn't quite Karen on the roof, but it was the very idea that you'd be able to take that with you on the go. Now, on top of that, there was a second vision with this console, and this vision was having a touchscreen like the 3DS or 2DS or DS does that goes along with the main screen. So it's a two-screen console. Now, as we see today, there are some, drawbacks to porting things to new systems, like things from the Wii U over to the Nintendo Switch, because obviously it was built for two screens. The DS and the 3DS could have a lot of great ports over to the Switch, but they were also built to have two screens. So I got to thinking, I'm like, okay, so fulfilling the vision of the Wii U, the Nintendo Switch has been huge in communicating, yes, this is the one thing that needs to happen. We have to get this system, and we have to make it to where you can carry console games with you on the go anywhere. Nintendo has succeeded in that. They've been beyond a success in this area. But what are they missing? They're missing the dual screen functionality. While playing Skyward Sword, I asked myself, why hasn't this been ported yet? Why is this not a thing yet over on the Nintendo Switch? It's because, number one, it's hidden behind motion controls, which they have in the Joy-Con. There are motion controls, and you can, make the pointer work based off gyroscope and stuff like that. It's no big deal. But the second screen is kind of a big deal in some cases on some of these games, which that's a Wii game, so it's not so much that. But ports of other games need that second screen, right? Yes? Yeah? Huh? Anyway, so even if they don't, the vision itself from Nintendo is this. They say, okay, we want to take it with you wherever you go, and we also want a second screen. We want that second screen. We want to take it with you wherever you go. Bada boom. The Wii U has been manifested in the Nintendo Switch. So we saw this patent, and you'll see it in front of you here, years ago about a dock that powers up the Nintendo Switch. And originally we thought that this was going to give it a lot more juice, like a lot more power to play the next generation. And it still could. However, now what I'm thinking that this might be was Nintendo really experimenting with a device that allows them to create a secondary screen on the Nintendo Switch, perhaps pushing the main display up to your television while you're holding the Switch in your hand and using it as a remote. Now, I've heard some people say that the Nintendo Switches can communicate, and that's what they think is going to happen. And that makes sense, that would be cool, but that would require you to own two Switches. What if the Nintendo Switch Pro came with a dock that allowed this to happen already? It's one thing for the functionality to be there. It's another thing to actually have the device to do it. And no one's going to buy two Switches just to have the second screen, right? No, it's not going to happen. Most of us already, I have 4 in my house, but the average consumer is not going to do this. So what this means, looking back, is that this dock device, okay, that's in there, it's either going to power up the console or it's going to create an output for a second screen, maybe even both, to push into the next generation. Now, this is super cool to think about because that means touch screen Could come back for menus. It could come back for all those things. And why do I think this, though? Like, what brought this to mind? Now, the latest update for the Nintendo Switch was the 10.0.0 update. Brought about the idea, to me, honestly, because they implemented the software update that showed that this was a thing. They wanted to implement some type of support for a second screen. Now it looks like they are preparing to be able to use this second screen wirelessly through that dock, and that is what I think. So let me just be straight about it. I think that the Nintendo Switch 2 is, yes, it's going to be beefed up, but the big catch here is going to be that this is going to be packaged with a dock that allows you to make your screen into a second, or make your Switch into a second screen, to be able to lift it up, play the game on the television, and use your Switch for other things, which will allow them to port all of their 3DS games, which, let's face it, the 3DS has probably the best library of games ever. It will allow them to pull over a lot of not only the functionality, but the Wii U games that might be trapped there because of that dual screen. So there's so much that they could do with this, and I am extremely excited about the whole future. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you agree with me. Now, this is just conjecture at this point. It's not me saying, yes, this is definitely going to happen. It's what this one simple guy thinks, and that's fine. We can all guess and think. I do believe that I'm right about this one, though. I honestly do. I think it got pushed back because of a load of different things, and Nintendo probably decided to roll with a big software title, considering their success. Instead of going head-to-head hardware-wise with the new consoles, perhaps they decided to push it back next year into the next fiscal year, or maybe even next March, in order to, to do this thing. And as we see, gaming companies now are really just adamant about not showing us anything at all. As we see with Sony, they've shown us a controller, okay? The system comes out in a few months and we've seen a controller, all right? So don't expect Nintendo, especially, who's the most tight-lipped company ever, to come out and tell us anything at all about their new console. So with that, guys, be sure to comment below, like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and I certainly appreciate you. You are amazing. We'll see you next time. This has been a delivery from the Gamestork.
Gamestork, delivering news, reviews, and playthroughs like a newborn baby.